Right over here is Interstate 4, or I-4, depending on who you ask. And all these families are going either east or west. West towards Walt Disney World and east towards everything else. Universal Studios, downtown Orlando, SeaWorld, Fun Spot. And right over here behind me is the former home of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. Hi everybody, and welcome to the world of Micah. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the former home of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, a dinner and show here in Central Florida that ran from 2003 to 2008. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. So let's talk about exactly what Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede was. Basically, they are still around today in Branson, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, and a number of other places across the United States. And essentially what it was a dinner and a show. You would eat while you were watching a show. And the show was all about horses and cowboys and the pride of Dixie and Southern living. And it opened here in Orlando, Florida, right off of Interstate 4, right next to the exit for Walt Disney World and Disney Springs back in 2003. Then, abruptly, in 2008, they were given an offer they simply could not refuse. And that's actually taken from their website talking about this place closing. They basically received an offer for the land that they honestly could not refuse. So in January of 2008, they closed Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede abruptly. In fact, they laid off over 162 some odd employees, and the performers had no idea that their last show was actually their last show. It's kind of a weird circumstance. I can see how that could, make some people mad, but they were offered jobs in other locations, but they had to relocate. But imagine just coming into work one day and then all of a sudden the next day being told, yeah, that was your last show and you're no longer an employee. Kind of a weird thing. But right here is the former home where we're walking right now. And I'm going to show you guys just a few of the spots. Found some photos online, and from those websites, I put the link to those websites in the description box. So if you guys want to read and give those guys credit, do so. Because without their websites and their photos, I would not be able to show you guys the things I'm showing you today. But I found some stuff over here that's kind of cool. Something that's really the only thing left from Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. Having to cross the street right now, but pay attention to this billboard right here, because I'm going to show you guys that billboard in another photo later. Some tall grass out here. I don't expect there to be a snake or anything. But right over here, actually, I'll just put the camera over the... You guys see that white fence? That white fence is left over from Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede era. That white fence can be seen in several of the photographs. It's pretty neat. Just reading off of my phone here, someone had posted the menu, and looking at the menu, they had vegetarian option. So if you were a vegetarian, you could still enjoy all the fun and festivities of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. But looking at the menu, they had mouth-watering tender whole rotisserie chicken. That's a mouthful. Delicious hickory smoked barbecue pork loin. They had a creamy vegetable soup, homemade biscuits, corn on the cob, potatoes, a special dessert, and they used Pepsi as their drink. Most people use Coke. But Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, they get down with Pepsi. But their vegetarian option, which a lot of people are curious about, I'm sure, they had a vegetarian lasagna. And they said a generous serving of lasagna. They had a mixed fruit bowl, the homemade biscuits you could have, the corn on the cob you could have, the potatoes you could have, the dessert you could have. So lots of good things to eat. Never actually got to visit, but I remember driving, and I'm sure you and your family do too. I remember driving right there on I-4 and looking over and always seeing Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. I know several people in my family who have gone in the past. I've seen their collectible mugs and merchandise from the show, but I never actually got to visit Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. But I'm curious as to if that's left over from Dolly Parton. It's like a little makeshift shed or stable or something. Now there are cows over here on the other property. But this little fenced-in area here, I'm wondering who owns that, and if that was left over from anything of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. So right over here, this kind of would have been the backside area of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, but we're gonna head back to the front and I'm gonna show you guys the good stuff. Possibly the reason why you clicked on this video, to see the photo comparisons and to see exactly what it looked like back when it was here. Check this out. On the ground, someone painted or spray painted from when they were probably doing some construction or digging. It says DSPX3. Is that Dixie Stampede? Does anybody know? That could be Dixie Stampede. So if you come over here to the corner of Lake Street and Vineland Avenue, take a left or right, depending on which way you're looking on Vineland, and I can show you guys exactly where the entrance to Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede used to be. This is where the photograph was taken. Right here you can see on the left hand side, 8251 Dixie Stampede. Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede dinner and show was the sign, and the road curved up and went straight up to where that Forever 21 building is. That was where the building was. So you would pull in here, and over here was all the parking. This is where you would park, exactly where this parking lot is now, and I'm wondering if this is the same parking lot. And this is weird to me. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but in the photograph the address was 8251, and here the address now is 8201. So does it change, or does it just depend on exactly where the marker stands? Not sure exactly how real estate and addresses and things like that work. Now this is awesome. Check it out. You can see the crosswalk there. Pay attention to that crosswalk. And then right in the middle there, on either side of how you go in and how you exit the shopping center now, right there in the middle, that's where the old Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede sign used to be. 8251. And in the background you can see Forever 21 and Saks Fifth Avenue and the Orlando Premium Outlets building, but check out the photograph here. You can see the crosswalk is still there, and then to the left where that little awning area is, where the steps are, used to be that white fence. Remember the white fence I showed you guys earlier? Well, that white fence used to come all the way out to this area. I mean, it ran all along Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. And that white fence that I showed you guys earlier is the only remaining piece of that white fence. Kind of cool. That's the only thing that's left. But you guys can see those tall white pillars in the photograph. I believe that was the entrance area. That's where you would go in and check in, and then to the right of that, I believe, is where the actual show would happen. But the road is still the same way. Go in on the right, leave on the left. In the middle there is where that sign was, the Dolly Parton Dixie Stampede. So yeah, this was the original area where the Dolly Parton sign would have been. It would have been somewhere around in here. Not seeing anything. It could have been right here for all we know. I'm sure they've redone this entire area, but this is it. You would walk up this way here, or drive. Most people don't walk on an open road like I do. And this is where Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede would be. Those white pillars would have been there, and that would have been the entrance. And as far as I could see in old video footage and photographs, this area is brand new for the outlets. But that white fence would have ran all the way along and all the way back. Now I'm going to head over right over here and show you guys one more photo, a kind of a sad photo. Now in this photograph you can see someone had taken a photo of them during the demolishing period. They were completely demolishing the building, but in the background that billboard is still here. The white fence I showed you guys earlier, still back there. And it's weird that the UGG North Face Orlando Premium Outlets tower is kind of in the same shape of where the other one was. Now I'm sure that's completely brand new. Maybe the structure of that little I-Ride trolley coming pretty close to where I'm standing. But I'm sure that structure is maybe the same. I'm not 100% sure on that. But here's the photograph so you guys can see the difference. To the right, that lake still there, and you can see there were all kind of construction equipment just tearing it down. So if you were driving on I-4 heading east or west, you could see them completely demolishing the former home of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. How sad, especially for the workers, if you drove by and saw them tearing down the place where you worked for several years, from 2003 to 2008. Every day, every night, entertaining families, creating memories, and then all of a sudden, one day, it's over. That's the part of progress that I can't really wrap my head around, and I'll probably never be completely behind. The thought of just completely getting rid of something and doing something else with the area. Well, you guys, I think we did it. I think we found everything there was to find of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede here in Orlando, Florida, which means it's time to say goodbye. But hey, if you or your family ever rode on Interstate 4, east or west, and you saw Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, give my video a big thumbs up in honor of the Dixie Stampede here in Orlando, Florida. And also, if you liked the video. If you would like to support my channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/worldofmicah. We're donating $1 a month. Can help fund episodes just like this. I had a lot of fun walking around the Orlando Premium Outlet today and showing you guys the former home of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. Not a whole lot left, just memories and that white fence. That's about it. But I enjoy doing something different here on the World of Micah channel and showing you guys just a little bit of Orlando history, something outside the theme parks, but something still along the lines of entertainment. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button because, hey, it's free and it'll keep you updated with my latest video. I'll see you on the next episode of World of Micah, everybody. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.